dinner time, mate. What you having?
Nothing. Right, do you want to know my eating for today?
Yeah, go on.
Got up, made me and broccoli breakfast. Lovely stuff. Did really well. And then I met John in the Wetherspoons by the office, and I had porridge.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've got a long gap. So I've had 2 breakfasts, and I've got a long gap, and I'll be having a birthday tea with Rob Goodman before the game, somewhere in a booze in about half an hour outside Stoke.
Okay.
So there's no lunch. I'm lunchless. 3 meals, but no lunch.
It's 3 hours, you know.
Well, this is one of the reasons why I'm in the physical condition I'm in, Robbo. And look at the state of me today. Look at my hair and everything. It's woeful. I'm having a shower in about an hour. This is. You'll learn a lot about the mundanity of my existence here, but this is what it is.
Footy and that then.
Yeah.
Footy and that. People are on the dinner want to talk about footy or want to hear us talk about footy, or they might not. Jon Flanagan. Jon Flanagan's having another run out today with the academy lads. I think he's getting 45. He had half an hour the other day. I wanted to ask you about Flano. I've seen a lot of odd negativity about him, almost like he's not, well, basically people saying he's not very good, and personally I think it's good that he's getting close to being in contention for the first team, but the various people I've seen seem not to think the same way. I mean, what do you think Flano brings to the squad, brings to the team?
I think he brings loads to the squad and maybe less to the team. You've got to remember, and this comes back to, it's accepting what a squad is, and there's loads of us who, it'd be great if we could have 20 boss players, but the reality is that we're not going to have 20 boss players. So the issue at the minute is that we haven't got enough boss players. It isn't, and that's partly because of injuries, but I think in general we just haven't got enough boss players. We've got loads of lads, and I'm going to write something on this, who are really good for a squad. And Flanagan is one of them. He can come in, he can play right back or left back. He's neat and tidy, wins his battles. You've got to remember that that run of games he had, 3 times he got took off at half time because he was having a nightmare. Yeah. But all the other times he solved it himself. He's an intelligent footballer and he worked out what he needed to do. So this is what a squad is, and I think because we're watching a lot of squad players at the minute who just haven't got enough magic running around, then you can get really down on squads. And so Flanagan, great. The more the merrier. We need these lads. We currently have. We've got all the lads we've got on the bench. We've got the 11 who are playing, so that's 18. And then there's 10 who are injured. So we're in a situation where we've effectively got a first team squad of 28, and one of those is Flanagan. We need as many of those who are injured to come back into contention as possible. We're not going to be able to do what the manager wants us to do with 14 boss players. So, this is it for me. I'm fine with Flanagan. Get him back in, get him back playing games for Liverpool, get him back occasionally making mistakes, occasionally learning from them. And if that means he's also second choice in process, well, that's fine. He'll battle not to be second choice. You've got his desire. You'll get somewhere.
Do you think Klopp will like him?
Yeah, I think he will, but he might not do. I mean, there's these lads that are going to come and go. That's what happens with squads. But the idea that we've got to ship 10 lads out and go through the process where it's a 40% chance that they fail with the lads who come back in, how good Lucas is. When you can use Lucas and not. Could we do with having maybe one more centre mid who's better than Lucas, who may not be quite as good as Jordan Henderson, but might become better than Jordan Henderson? Yeah. But you still know you've got Lucas in the squad. Well, what's the issue? There's a really good Tompkins piece which I read long, read it yesterday. Really, really good. And in there he uses the examples of Lucas and Milner. Whether or not these are quite good enough to be, first team starters in a Liverpool side that's trying to win the league, touch and go. They're great to have around the place.
The TompkinsTimes.com, that is, if you want to read Paul's piece. Always spot on. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned you're going to Stoke. How do you see that panning out? What do you think the team will be? How do you see the game going?
Stoke, I think it'll be... I don't think there's much. He hasn't got many options for the team.
No, he hasn't. Really.
So I think he might bring Lallana in to start. He might drop. He might either go with the front 3 with Firmino, Coutinho, and Lallana, and think they'll come at us and pick them off on the break and look for a little bit of space. And I think either way, I would probably look to start Joe Allen. Just have another body in midfield with Lucas, with Emre Can. Look to sort of start those 3. Either go with Benteke, Coutinho, Lallana, or go with Coutinho, Lallana, Firmino.
Smith.
I can go either way on Smith. I'm not going to be annoyed if Smith plays. I'm not going to necessarily call for him to play because, it's a big game in terms of you get dropped in, and if Mark Hughes sees that, then he'll spend that he sees the team sheet an hour before kick-off, and he'll say to whoever, get it in for half an hour. And we've seen good stuff from Smith when he's got the ball. Good stuff when we played, when he got the game against Sion. What we haven't seen is what happens when someone, could be Shaqiri, could be Arnautovic, could be Bojan, goes and stands and plays on him for half an hour, at which point that's a different test.
Yeah, all good players.
Yeah, all good players.
Wanted to ask you as well, some Liverpool Ladies news. they sold another of the best players basically in Farah Williams, who even if you don't follow women's football or Liverpool Ladies, the likelihood is that you've probably heard of Farah because she scored in the World Cup. Brilliant player. Is this getting a bit concerning now for if you follow Liverpool Ladies, which we obviously do? I mean, that's 7 players gone now this summer, including Libby Stout, great goalie, Natasha Dowie, great goal scorer, Becky Easton, great experience in midfield. I mean, it's concerning, isn't it, of you?
Yeah, it's very concerning. I mean, you just named the spine there. I mean, Becky, Becky was massively about her experience, but put Becky to one side for a second. The spine of that side, and they were injury rocked last season, but the spine of the side was Stout in goal, was Gemma Bonner at centre half, was Williams, and was Natasha Dowie. So you've lost 3 of those 4, and Bonner's still got injured at the back end of the season and could be touch and go. So I think it's hugely concerning if you're following the ladies, and the football club's got a responsibility, I think, to have a strong ladies side and a ladies side that people can go and see, and especially girls can go and see. There's one of the early experiences I had at women's football was that I had just to the right of me like 5 to 10 11-year-old girls going the game, and they were talking about what the players were doing. They were excited, they were glad to be there, but they were talking about what the players were doing. She does that, we don't do that. She talks a lot, and you've got to have a flagship to have that. You've got to have something that's worth going to see, and that's not to say that they can win the league every season or challenge for the league every season, but you've got to be trying to do something with it. And maybe I'm talking out of turn because I don't know enough about it, in terms of who they're going to bring in or who they've already brought in. But to see we went to 5 or 6 ladies games last season, and pretty consistently the player of the match was Libby Stout, Gemma Bonner, Farah Williams or Natasha Dowie. So to see 3 of them, 3 of those 4 no longer be at the club straight away makes me think, well, it's a big step up for even if you feel as though you've got someone lined up. Yeah,
it's a strange game as well in that you never really know how much money's changing hands for these players. It isn't reported like the men's game, obviously. I mean, I'd only echo what Neil said there in that I took my daughter to a ladies game and she's only 6, and I've taken her to see the first team as well, but the ladies game was different for her because she's a girl, and so she's like, can I play football then, Dad? And I'm like, of course you can.
Yeah.
And so now she's got me looking around for a girls football team that she can play it, but she's only 6 and apparently that's too young. Anyway, last of all, just about us today, the stuff we're putting out today. There's a panel quiz.
There's a panel quiz?
Tell us about that. Is it mad?
It's mad, yeah. I mean, it was very disorganised on my side because I'm trying to do the quiz and I've got to write it down at the same time. I haven't got a glamorous assistant. Gibber wasn't around, and so I'm in the situation where it was a bit chaotic, but we stay on top of it. And it's Stu Wright, Ian Salmon, Mike Gerling, Chris Maguire as reigning champion, and Steve Graves. There's a bit of controversy in there as well. I mean, any competitive event that involves Steve Graves is going to cause a bit of controversy. So you can keep your ears out for that. That'll be out this afternoon. And there's a pink after the Stoke game. Obviously, we'll get that out as quickly as we can. Aware that this finishes at about 9:45. We've got to get to where we're recording it from there. So all in, I hope that's with you for about sort of our time, sort of 11 o'clock. And hopefully we're talking about a good result for Liverpool.
Yeah, loads on the site as well as ever, so please do have a look.
Gibbo's column now, but yeah, literally watching them.
Gibbo's behind us there, writing away. That'll be on the site later. Dave Seegers wrote something about Emre Can as well. He's a big Can fan. I know some people, again, perhaps strangely aren't. Anyway, that's us today, so we'll see you tomorrow. Nice
All the best.